What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman III of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you aren't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like the video, throw down a comment or two. It really helps me and goes a long way in helping the channel just be seen across YouTube. So it is Thursday, August 22nd, and today we have the final training camp practice that is open to the public, and it's a good one. Packers are joint practicing today with the Ravens at Ray Nitschke Field. Hopefully this joint practice goes a little bit better than last week's. Same goes for the preseason game that we had against the Broncos. That was pretty rough, to say the least. Lamar Jackson, Jair Alexander's former teammate at Louisville, and last year's MVP. They've got Derrick Henry over there. Yes, for those living under a rock, Derrick Henry is with the Ravens now. Yeah, they've got a pretty good defense, one of the best in the NFL last year. I think they were first overall in points allowed, so hopefully we can get the ball rolling today against them. It'll be a challenge, so much bigger challenge than Denver, in my opinion. So hopefully it's a productive practice today. As Coach said earlier this week, he's not sure if the starters will or will not play the preseason game Saturday. I'm thinking he probably wants to see a little bit better of a performance today compared to last week before he makes the call. So if they don't end up playing on Saturday, this will be today's joint practice. That is, this will be the last real tune-up before the regular season. So, which as tomorrow is 2 weeks away from actual Packers football. It's crazy to even think that we're only 2 weeks away from Packers-Eagles down in Brazil. A Friday night game, which is wild. I can't remember the last Friday night game of the NFL. I'm not sure if they've ever had one or a Friday game for the Packers. Was it maybe Christmas a couple of years ago against the Dolphins? Was that on Friday? I don't remember. Either way, Packers, Eagles, week 1 down in Brazil. Eagles finished last year pretty awful. So they've added a few pieces, though. Saquon Barkley. I think they're going to be coming out for a little bit of a vengeance here. To make up for how they ended last year and try and get out to the right foot here. Anybody in the chat have a prediction for week 1? Who wins? What's the final score? Who's going to have a good game? Who's going to not have a good game? Hopefully for the Eagles. Drop a prediction in the chat. I'll throw some on the screen here, and let's see what the vibe is. I'm feeling, before last week, I was feeling great. The joint practice and the pretty awful preseason game, not that it really means much, if anything at all, kind of hindered my optimism just a little bit. But compared to last year's week 1 game in Chicago, I am a little more anxious for this year's season opener. I just think everything about it for both teams is a little different. We got a Friday night game down in Brazil. Somewhat of an unfamiliar opponent for us in the Eagles. We haven't really played them a ton over the last few seasons. I don't know. I'm, of course, still picking us to win just because, that's how I roll. But I also think we're the better team. Give me Packers 23, Eagles 17. Well, there's a missed extra point in there. I don't want to get too crazy into the kicker conversation already. I'm sure that's going to come up. That seems to be the hottest topic over the last couple of weeks. The kicking battle and the quarterback 2 battle. Hopefully the quarterback 2 battle or conversation becomes a non-story once the season gets here, because if it becomes a story, then we're pretty much screwed. So hopefully that becomes nothing. The kicker battle, need I say anything? So drop a prediction in the chat. Martin says 17-16 Packers. I like that. Anything with the Packers win, I'll take it. Chad in the chat, my man Chad, 1 day closer to the regular season. I'm excited, man. It's crazy to think we're about 2 weeks away. We've been waiting a long time, ever since the Niners game. It's just like, okay, how many more days? And we're about 15 days away. Bart Starr days away from Packers Eagles in Brazil. That's great. So everybody chopping it up in the chat. I absolutely love to see it. One of my favorite times of the day, hopping on here, talking Packers with you guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. Let's see what we got, shall we? Brandon, go Pack, go from Texas. I'm excited about the team this year. I'm right back into thinking we can win it all. Go Pack, go Brandon. Thank you for the comment. It's great, isn't it? We've had maybe 1.5 seasons over the last few decades of genuinely not thinking we have a legit shot at winning it all. One of those was Aaron Rodgers' first year starting. The other half was the first half of last year, because I don't know about you guys. Going into playoffs last year, I thought if we could get a win in Dallas, if we could beat the Cowboys in Dallas, in Lambeau South, anything can happen. So now we all know how many seasons actually ended up in, ending in a Super Bowl win. Not as many as we probably, should have or have hoped. But going into every year, at least for me, if we had a healthy Aaron, if we had a healthy Brett Favre, I always thought we were a legit Super Bowl contender. So it's great being a Packers fan, isn't it, Brandon? I know there's a lot of heartbreak, a lot of in between fiascos between Super Bowls, but it's worth it. So go Pack, go, man. Thanks for the comment. Oh, Jonathan in the chat, my buddy, my old boss, my current friend. 0-0. Go back to bed. Day hasn't started. Oh, thank you for giving me a chance to humbly brag. Been up and at it since 4 a.m. Got my workout in. What do they say, John? Early bird gets the worm? Yes, been up and at it. Got a workout in already. Talking Packers with you all, with you, my fine man. No complaints over here. David over on Facebook. Eagles-Packers always start out slow. Heat will be a factor. Yeah, that is interesting. I never thought about the weather down there. I have zero knowledge on what Brazil is weather-wise. First thing that comes to mind, I'm assuming it's hot. I don't know. So, yeah, I bet it'll be a slow start for both of them. All the travel involved, neutral location, first game of the year. I don't know. As long as we get that dub. David, I'm cool. So, thank you, David, for tuning in. Nicole, good morning, Rob. Saw your post last night, so I was curious on what you thought. Jordan Love or Joe Burrow over the next 4 years. Who are you taking? Good morning, Nicole. I'm going with Jordan. Joe Burrow, don't get me wrong. I think he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback. But Jordan is also. So, and I think he's better. So, give me Jordan. Thanks for the comment, Nicole. Appreciate you. Nick, what is this? It's Packers chat, man. Every morning. Tune in. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate you. Eddie, please, anybody call Mason Crosby and see what he's doing. We need him back. Good morning, Eddie. Good to see you too. Do we, though? Do we actually need Money Mason back? Listen, I love Mason Crosby. One of my favorite Packers of all time. Packers all-time leading scorer. So many of the memories that come to mind involving the Packers over the last 10, 15 years are plays that he made. But right now, our guy is Anders Carlson. Greg Joseph hanging on by a thread right behind him, especially with the decline over the last week or so from him. Would I feel more comfortable with Mason on extra points? Sure. But I haven't seen him kick in an actual game in, the last year and a half, outside of a few times with his stint with the Giants, if I remember correctly. So, I don't know. Anders, I'm hoping. I'm crossing my fingers. Anders Carlson is turning it around. And by the time week one comes, hopefully he's ready to rock. So, if not, worst case scenario, Goody, we all know he's made some good moves. some sneaky ones at that. Whether it's right before the season, poaching guys off practice squads, signing them for cheap, trading them for cheap. Rasul Douglas, Devondre Campbell comes to mind. So we all know he's doing some behind the scenes looking just in case he needs to add a kicker before the season starts. So have faith, Eddie. To round that up, sorry, I was rambling. Anders is our guy. And if he's not, I trust Goody to pull another Goody move, sign a gem, after cut downs or maybe a cheap trade for some sort of kicker that gets released or could be or would get released if not. So let's just think happy thoughts while we can, There's going to be plenty of stuff during the season that we could harp on. I can guarantee you that. So if not, I get it. There's a legit reason for concern at this point with how they're both performing. And it's not good enough. Hopefully they can get better. I'm hoping Anders can turn around. He has been turning around the last few practices. And so hopefully today in joint practices with the Ravens and then Saturday's preseason game, he can hopefully prove to be kind of putting his right foot forward, so to speak. So thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you hopping on, man. Speaking of Mason is in the chat, and he says, after one rushing touchdown, Bears fans and the media are already crowning Caleb Williams as the next GOAT. Oh, well, Mason, it is the preseason, which for Bears fans is the most, optimistic and at the same time unrealistic time of the year. I don't think Williams even has a touchdown pass yet. The touchdown he did have, I think, was a rushing touchdown. So, which was impressive, by the way. Now it is preseason. The Packers do great things in preseason. I'm loving it and getting hyped about it. If they do bad things in preseason, I just say it's preseason. It doesn't matter. So, but I haven't watched a lick of Bears football because, why waste time doing that? So don't worry, Mason. The hype will die down as soon as the regular season starts, most likely. But I will say, prepare yourself. Because if he does start playing good, if the Bears get off to a good start, there's going to be a lot of chirping from Bears fans. So let them have their regular season glory. They've been waiting a long time for some quarterback play. We'll keep focusing on winning a Super Bowl over here, huh? So thanks, Mason, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Ariel from New York, diehard Packer fan since 1993. Ariel, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you. Go, Pack, go. Nick, any worries about the joint practice with the Broncos regarding the starters? Nick, no worries over here. I don't think there's legit concern. The only concern I really had was about A.J. Dillon, and I see a comment about A.J. Dillon here, which I'll get to in a second. He's been out with a little stinger. But it's just the preseason. It's just training camp. Just like I said, if the Packers do good, I'm a homer. I'm an optimist. If the Packers do good in preseason, I'm loving it. I'm hyping it up. If they do bad in preseason or, in your case, a joint practice, it's just like, take it with a grain of salt. It's a joint practice. They had to travel out there. Aaron Nagler was talking about it the other day. Remember when the Patriots came to town last year and the Packers beat up on them during the first practice? They're traveling, new practice field, new everything. And then the second day, the Patriots came back and pretty much whooped our butts. So, who's to say if we didn't have a second practice, we would have gone out there and whooped their butt just like the Patriots did in practice number 2 against us last year? Who knows? So, no worries from the joint practice last week. So, thank you, Nick. Aaron, that leads me to what I was just talking about. Any concern for A.J. Dillon? Saw that he's been out. What's up, Aaron? Thanks for hopping on. Yes, A.J. Dillon has been out. He has what they're calling it a stinger. So that happened during the joint practice last week against the Broncos. A.J. Dillon did say that it was different than the one he had at the end of last season. So if you remember correctly, he missed about a month-ish to end the season last year. So overall, at this point, everything that I've seen as of Thursday morning, if you're watching this later on, they're waiting for some tests to come back as far as his stingers before they make any decisions going forward. So cross our fingers. Tests come back good, and he can get back out there because, whether you like it or not, he's going to be a pretty big part of the offense this year. I know there's some, negative stuff floating around out there about his performance against the Browns, but yeah, hopefully he can get healthy before week 1. So let me some AJ Dillon. Dr. Devil in the chat over on Instagram. Best, cheapest ways to frame jerseys like behind you. Great question. I get the frames from Michaels. And if you buy more, you get a deal. So I think you could buy 6 online for, half the price that you could buy 1 individually. So yeah, do that. And then look up on YouTube how to frame jerseys. It's a couple-minute video and 16 by 20 black. It's cheap and it's easy. So I would definitely recommend getting it from Michaels. And if you don't have a Michaels around you, that you can get them online. So thank you for the question, and thank you for noticing the setup. Appreciate that. Joshua Long over on YouTube. What all platforms are you on? LOL. I have you on Facebook and now YouTube. Joshua, thank you. Thank you for happening on YouTube. Which brings me to say, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, throw a comment in the chat. It really helps the YouTube channel within the YouTube algorithm. If it shows that some folks are interacting with the videos, they're going to show it to more people. So, and that all helps me. I'm on every social platform, Joshua. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, now X, TikTok. And I think I covered them all. So all of them are at GP Daily. Thank you, Joshua, for the subtle plug. Don over on Facebook. Go Pack, go. Go Pack, go, Don. Good to see you. Okay, before we head out of here, as I mentioned earlier, today is the final open practice to the public. And it's a good one. Joint practice with the Ravens up in Green Bay. Practice starts at 10:30. So if you're trying to get a seat, try to get there. I get there, 9:30, 10 o'clock. You can still find some good seats. I know folks like to get in line a couple hours earlier. And if you want to get your picking of a seat on the bleachers, then sure, you could show up earlier. But I showed up at 10. I've showed up at 10:15 and walked in and got a decent seat. So the ushers will help you find a good seat. And if you're there at 10:30, you can still find seats along the end zone. They've got bleacher seats on the end zone, or if you want to stand, you can go to the other end zone where there's no bleacher seats. So should be a fun one. 10:30 start time. Packers came out with a statement earlier this week saying that all Ravens players will be participating in Dream Drive, which is cool. So if there are enough bikes. So if you got a kiddo, you got a couple kiddos that can make it to practice, get on over there, check it out. Last one of the year, which is crazy to think. And then on Saturday, final preseason game. Lambeau Field should be great weather. A good chance to get inside Lambeau. Check out some football. Tickets are pretty cheap compared to regular season games. So if you want to save a little bit of money and still see some football inside Lambeau, here's your chance. So that's going to do it for me today as far as the show goes. But as you know, the content never stops. I'm always posting everything Packers related all day long. So be sure to follow me at GOP Daily on every social platform. If you're not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at GOP Daily. And one last one before we go here. Wisco Sports going to camp today. I am not going to training camp today, Wisco Sports. I will be following along just like everybody else on social media for updates, photos, videos. So if you are going to training camp, shoot me some videos, shoot me a couple photos, maybe some updates. I'd appreciate it. So I will be back and at it again tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I'll catch you guys later.